app.
The Ref Sports Radio Network.
Live from the Buffalo Wild Wings studios, it's time to get locked into the best Sooner recruiting and football news with Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Hit the guys up on the Riverwind Casino call-in line at 405-329-9000 or text the show at 405-651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
One more show till the weekend, folks. Glad to be with you here on a Friday. Shout out to the Brown Bag in Norman, a Hal Smith restaurant, who took care of our lunch earlier today here at the office. Here in the holiday season, if you need some takeout for your office or for the family holiday party, come get Brown Bag for next Friday's tailgate or watch party or whatever the occasion may be. All beef, house-made chili. They got a chili cheeseburger, Frito chili pie. It's that chili time of year, and they have excellent chili at the Brown Bag. But phenomenal house-made onion rings as well, burgers, tenders, tacos, the whole 9 yards. Again, a Hal Smith concept, you know that's a quality product. 3770 West Robinson Street in the Brookhaven Center, or give them a call at 405-857-2744. Grayson Singleton, how we feeling?
What's up, dude? I saw the craziest thing last night.
What's that now?
Okay, so I'm working at a tournament.
As one does.
At Norman North, and I'm doing a Norman North Muskogee game.
Okay.
You ever seen a coach get ejected for picking up a chair?
For picking up a chair.
So, coach from Muskogee, one time, has already had one technical foul.
Okay.
So we're in overtime. One of two overtimes.
Tracking.
Call gets made in the coach's defense. It was a bad call.
Okay.
So I'm calling the game, and I'm looking at the court, looking at the officials, seeing how they're going to adjudicate everything, right?
Understandable.
The student section starts pointing over to the Muskogee bench. And I'm like, okay, what the hell is going on here? I see the coach with a chair in his hand, 5 feet on the court, looking like he was going to have some bad intentions with that chair.
Oh, okay, so he was like brandishing the chair.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, this makes a lot more sense now. This makes a lot more sense.
I was terrified. I was like 20, 30 feet away from the coach. I was like, what in the heck? I've never seen this before.
So we almost had a little Bob Knight situation on our hands.
Except Bob Knight. That's what my best friend told me when I told him this story. Bob Knight threw the chair in the vicinity of players. Mm-hmm. I thought he was about to try to beat the refs over the head with the chair. Like, that is
okay.
What I thought was going on. I was like, I think I've seen it all at this point.
So I thought the direction this was going initially was a bizarrely unwarranted ejection. But to me, this just sounds like a bizarre and very warranted ejection.
But yes, there you go. A very warranted ejection.
Wow.
I've never seen this before. Like, this is one of those things where you get ejected even if you don't have the first technical foul. You can't come 5 feet onto the court holding a chair and screaming obscenities at the official. Dog, it was wild.
Sheesh. Eventful evening for you, it sounds like.
Yeah, we're going to run it back all again tonight on KRefSports.tv.
Oh, fun stuff. Hey, shameless plug there. Tap in with KRefSports.tv. Which games are you calling tonight?
I've got a girls game, Owasso and Del City, and then I've got Norman North and Putnam City North, which that one's going to be fun.
I would think so.
That one's going to be real fun.
You know what else is going to happen tonight?
What's that?
Tate Sandell is going to win the Grozo Award.
Hell yeah, he is. And this one should be unanimous.
It should be. We'll see how many folks are endeared to the legend of the Tokyo Toe, which is quite a legend at this point. Any other year, I probably would be partial to the Tokyo Toe. Kansei Matsuzawa out of the University of Hawaii. But Tate Sandell has just been too good. Too impactful. 7 for 7 from beyond 50 yards. No small factor in Oklahoma's playoff push here in 2025. We're going to find out tonight who the winner of the Grozo Award is, and there is no earthly reason why it shouldn't be Tate Sandell. So we look forward to that. You know who else had an eventful night last night? Oklahoma's lone in-state signee in the 2026 class, Xavier Okafuleze.
State champion.
Congrats to him. Congrats to the Rejoice Christian Eagles, who brought home their second Class A1 state title in a row last night, defeating Tonkawa 34-13. There been any celebrities to come out of Tonkawa? Who's the most notable Tonkawa high school alumnus? I need to know. I drive past Tonkawa every single time I go back to Nebraska, but I'll be lying if I said I've ever done anything more than get gas in Tonkawa.
Yeah, but I couldn't tell you.
It was Rejoice and Tonkawa last night for the Class A1 state title. Rejoice triumphs 34-14 behind 2 touchdown passes from 2028 athlete Camion Compton-Nero, a big OU target, 2 Okafuleze, one of them covering 28 yards, the other covering 48 yards. Okafuleze also had an interception in the game. Rejoice finished 13-1 on the year. They are state champions for a second straight season. And the only game I watched ZZ play in person this year, Grayson, was the one game that they lost. So I guess I'm a bad omen for Rejoice Christian Athletics. He was sick that evening. He was battling illness, but they fell 21-14 to Cassia Hall back in late September, as I recall. And that was their only loss of the season. Unscathed otherwise. So, hey, in a year where you kind of have an uncommon dearth of in-state signees, never before in the modern recruiting era has Oklahoma signed any fewer than 2 in-staters. It's always nice to see the one guy that is carrying the flag for the state of Oklahoma go out a champion, as ZZ Okafuleze did last night.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. And, like we've talked about, really high ceiling with that kid. Is going to need some development to be a player at the college level, but he's such an intriguing prospect because he's an athlete, he's twitchy, and obviously that he's 6'4". Can he become a football player is going to be so curious to see in the coming years.
Somebody said on the text line, Oklahoma State's AD is from Tonkawa. Is it really?
Chad Weiberg?
Chad Weiberg is from Tonkawa? I need to fact check this.
I didn't know that.
Somebody else said, linebacker from Oklahoma State a few years back, came from Tonkawa, plays in the league now. Are you thinking of Malcolm Rodriguez?
Because he's from Wagner.
Yeah, if so, that would be Wagner's finest. Well, one of Wagner's finest. Neck and neck with Oklahoma defensive end Alex Shieldknight. I'm actively fact-checking whether or not Weiberg did indeed.
You know what?
Come
Speaking of Shieldknight, we've had questions on the YouTube chat in past days about him. What do you think? Do you think he gets on the field in any kind of capacity next year? Is he any kind of contributor at all?
He's been hurt
right
at times throughout his brief career at Oklahoma to this point. I have always said I'm a buyer on Alex Shieldknight. I guess I'm more of a holder right now. I'm holding my Alex Shieldknight stock. Now, defensive end in the years to come at Oklahoma, especially with the 3 guys that they just signed in the 2026 class, you're going to have to earn your snaps.
Yes.
Absolutely no question about that. You're going to have to earn your snaps. But I've always been a fan of Alex Shieldknight's game. I've always been a fan of his motor. Physically, he's not the most gifted specimen in terms of height and length and all. Like, he's like 6'2". But what I've always said about that kid, and anybody who watched him at the high school level can attest to this, he's got one of the best motors I've ever seen. And that's worth something. Man, that's worth something. I'm not saying he's going to be Taylor Wine. I'm not saying he's going to be our Mason Thomas. But I think he'll have an impact at some point at Oklahoma. When that is, who's to say? What we know, Marvin Jones graduates at year's end. Our Mason Thomas graduates at year's end. Oklahoma's meal ticket at defensive end in 2026 is going to be Taylor Wine, no question about it. But there should be plenty of snaps to go around for other DNs in the room, and you would figure that the battle to start opposite Wine is going to primarily be between PJ Adibawere and Danny Okoye. You're going to need 4 or 5 defensive ends, though. That's always the case in the SEC. You're going to need 4 or 5 guys that you can throw out there on the field at any given time, and they're going to be able to hold it down. So, Shieldknight could be in the mix at this time next year. But how ready is Jake Krell to jump into the mix? How ready is Daniel Norman to jump into the mix? I think Matthew Nelson's probably a year 2 guy optimistically.
Yes.
But Krell and Norman are 2 dudes that could show up and contend for snaps immediately.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's and when I hear that question from people, I think he's got a gauntlet to go through in terms of the talent in that room. So I'm right with you. He's going to need to earn it. Obviously, he's playing a little bit from behind because he's been hurt for the duration that he's been hurt for. So he's got a way to go, but you'll see. But the door is open with guys like Marvin Jones and R. Mason Thomas exiting the program after this year.
The producer on the text line with an interesting question. Guys, I have a legit procedural question about recruiting. When Nagy or any GM is negotiating with a recruit, how does the GM perform due diligence with regards to the dollar amount the recruit is claiming to be offered from another school? Do the kid or the agent flat out lie? Or is there a service that confirms offer amounts? Well, a couple things here. First off, Jim Nagy and the Brain Trust in the Oklahoma front office, all of those guys have relationships all over the country. So if they want to get to the truth of the matter, if they have reason to believe that they're being misled about the figure that has been placed on a certain player elsewhere, they can generally get to the bottom of what the truth is. They're generally going to be able to figure out what is fact and what is fiction in that sense. But also, Grayson, to an extent, it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter what a kid is being offered by another school because we've talked about, and I'll go back to the phrase you use all the time, properly pricing commodities.
Mm-hmm.
If you're Oklahoma and you believe this player is worth X amount of money, but another school is offering him Y amount of money that's substantially larger, then given the breadth of experience that Nagy and all his associates have, and with the knowledge that they can probably go find somebody on the market that's of a comparable talent level that you can get more affordably, you're not going to pay a kid another $100,000 just because somebody made a better offer and you feel like you have to have him.
Yeah, it's one of those things where somebody else's price doesn't have to become your price, which also goes back to another phrase that I use pretty often, value is relative. So basically what you're saying is that if we think that this position, based on the construction of our team as it sits, isn't up to that sort of price, all right, let's go get a kid who isn't going to command as much because that's what the value is of that roster spot for us. So it is that whole numbers game and value game and construction game that you have to play, which, by the way, adds a new layer of radio that I like when it comes to college football because I do like talking about this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I will say, back during OV season, there was a recruit, I won't name names here, but there was a recruit that OV'd to Oklahoma, and he and his representatives lied to the Oklahoma front office about the amount of money that was on the table for him at another school. That kid was going to commit to Oklahoma anyway. He was going to take a discount to come play at Oklahoma, but...
Oh, so he screwed himself.
But when Jim Nagy and the OU front office found out that there was some dishonesty, some misrepresentation of what the market for his services actually was, they said, thanks, but no thanks, we're good.
Yeah, no, you played yourself if you're whoever that recruit is, because ultimately, if you're being dishonest there, how are you going to negotiate in good faith when it's time to make sure that you stay put if we want to retain you?
And look, folks, there are always going to be, well, I shouldn't say there are always going to be. From time to time, there will be generational type recruits, right? There will be an Adrian Peterson. That's the very clear number one overall player in the country. Or there will be a Caleb Williams that's a very clear number one overall quarterback in the country. And it's evident to everyone with eyes that this is a top-tier prospect, the likes of which you're not going to be able to replace if you don't land him. You're not going to be able to go find another Caleb Williams if you miss out on him. And depending on need, depending on spending capacity, Oklahoma may choose to fight the battle for a guy like that. But more often than not, Grayson, I would say 90 to 95% of the time, if there's a kid that you are unable to sign due to a lack of agreement on what the adequate financial compensation for such a player ought to be, then you're going to be able to go and find a comparable player at a better price point, because that's just the nature of the beast, man. You have thousands and thousands of players every year that are P4 good, whether they wind up at P4 schools or not. I mean, there's no better example of this than, for instance, a guy like Christian Moore, who was going to North Alabama until Thanksgiving Day, and Oklahoma dialed him up, and he was nowhere on anybody's radar in the P4 at that point. They said, we've seen your tape. We believe in you. We're going to bring you here to the University of Oklahoma. And as it stands, he is well outside the top 1,000 right now in the rankings. But OU doesn't freaking care. They don't care about anybody's evaluations but their own. And so it comes down to being willing to do your own work and trust your own expertise. And if you're willing to stand by your evaluations and you're willing to really put your hand down on the table and say, no, this is what this player is worth. I don't care what he's worth to this school or that school. This is what he's worth to us. And that's the approach that you're taking. You're never going to get gypped. You're never going to make a bad deal. There may be players that don't pan out, but what that means is you're not taking a colossal swing and whiffing at a player that's going to, well, to use Todd Bates' phrasing, beat you every single day when he shows up to the building and he's not pulling his weight for the program.
That's not a bad way to put that. Not a bad way to put the experience with one particular transfer.
Yeah, and transfers, obviously, you're paying a lot of money for transfers regardless.
Because they're proven.
I would imagine that going forward, the outcome of the Jaden Knott fiasco is going to continue to shape Oklahoma's philosophy when it comes to allocating resources in the portal, because that's the type of mistake, Grayson, that you really only make once, because you only need to make it once.
Exactly. But again, just because you never know how this is going to work. So, like, how long, and again, we don't know how long Jim Nagy and his regime is going to last. We hope for the next decade plus or whatever. But how long do you think to put it kind of cynically, trauma from the Jaden Knott outcome, how long do you think that's going to continue to impact what they do? Because there could be another running back that you could bring in, and he turns out great. Like, how long do you think that's going to factor into this kind of calculus?
Oh, I mean, it'll get talked about for several years, I would think. And any running back that Oklahoma brings in via the transfer portal, there's going to be some increased skepticism around him, not because of anything he's shown or hasn't shown on the football field, but just because there's always going to be that contingent that goes, oh boy, here comes the next Jaden Knott. So, who knows? I think wins and losses also will have a lot to do with that. If the program is winning and having success, then it's going to be folks will be less inclined to second guess some of the decisions that this front office is making. 405-651-3439 is the text line if you want to make your voice heard throughout the show. Coming up next here on the program, we will delve into the tape on our Friday film study and take a look at Oklahoma's only standing quarterback offer in the 2027 cycle. The young man, I should say, that Ben Arbuckle and the Oklahoma staff want to be their guy in a class that is already number one in the nation with 11 commits on board. That's coming up next here on Locked In. You're listening to The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
Locked In is brought to you every day by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno. Dorsey Jones GMC is family-owned and operated with a knowledgeable, low-pressure sales staff here to help you through the buying process and half-price oil changes on Saturdays. Visit Dorsey-JonesGMC.com for more information.
Have you or someone you know suffered a loss to your home or business from the recent storms? Before you accept a settlement, call Brown O'Haver at 405-735-5510. Brown O'Haver is a local-based company helping Oklahomans with claims since 1988 with preparation and expert analysis detailing your loss and insurance settlement. As your trusted consultant, Brown O'Haver can give you peace of mind and make sure you're getting what's yours. Call Brown O'Haver today, 405-735-5510, and make sure they're working for you.
Coach Stoops here for Van Hoos Fence. If you want to work with the best local fence company and get championship service, contact my friend Mark and the Van Hoos Fence team. Van Hoos Fence gives each customer the most professional craftsmanship and competitive pricing in Oklahoma. From wood to chain link to vinyl to metal fences, the Van Hoos Fence team does it all. Contact the Fencing All-Americans at Van Hoos Fence, 405-735-1167 or vhfence.com.
At Armstrong Bank, your business isn't just business to us, it's personal. Our bankers are invested in your success, and we're ready to build a relationship that lasts. You deserve a strong financial partner by your side. Together, we can help make your business even stronger with products and services designed for your convenience. To learn more, visit a location near you or visit armstrong.bank. Armstrong Bank. Strength runs in our family. Member FDIC.
Lake Crest Casino and Hotel is the perfect getaway in Ardmore, Oklahoma, where fun, comfort, and entertainment all come standard. Stay in our luxurious 89-room hotel or treat yourself to our resort-style pool with outside bar, enjoy fine dining in our restaurant, or try your luck in our casino. The Oasis Boutique offers something for everyone. Plan your next getaway at Ardmore's newest destination for luxury, excitement, and unforgettable fun at lakecrestcasino.com or call 580-222-2910.
With over 30 years of experience, the Schumacher Law Group will advocate for you and your family. Led by a former district judge, former prosecutor, and now your voice. Trusted experts in family law, power of attorney agreements, navigating the probate process, and wills. They can help you work through the complex issues with compassion and attentiveness to resolve delicate family issues. Schumacher Law Group. Visit lawgroupok.com. When experience matters.
There's a beautiful little box under the tree. A Christmas box wrapped in papers of silver and gold. And there, next to the bow in that Christmas box, is a tag with your name, written in Santa's own hand. It's a Christmas box, and inside it holds a gift of great beauty from Lewis Jewelers. What wonderful little treasure awaits you in that Christmas box? Is it a magnificent gift of shimmering gold? Is it a gift of brightly colored gemstones? Perhaps there's diamonds, spectacular diamonds set in a bracelet, a pendant, or a ring. Whatever treasure that Lewis Jewelers Christmas box holds, it's bound to be a gift she will cherish because it's a gift from Lewis Jewelers, a gift of lasting quality and real value. The Christmas box. There's one waiting for someone you love at Lewis Jewelers on I-35 and more, just 1/2 mile south of 19th Street. Wouldn't you rather say it came from Lewis Jewelers?
Oh my nosh, look at that view. And the food too. Come see us at Nosh on the Green at the Jimmy Austin Golf Club. We're open to the public and open at 8 a.m. Monday, Wednesday through Sunday, as well as game days. Come by and make us a part of your game day tradition and take it up a notch. Event spaces are available through the Jimmy Austin Golf Club or call 405-630-8267. Nosh at the Green at the Jimmy Austin Golf Club in Norman, your game day headquarters.
Is that a little royalty-free remix right there?
Little
record scratch?
Sometimes the computer just decides to do its own thing and make me look like an idiot.
At least it was doing it in time.
Yeah.
I was kind of vibing with it.
I mean, I could see you were vibing with it, and I was like, oh, Parker doesn't know that this is absolutely not supposed to be happening.
No, I've been there before. Technology. The demons of technology.
Oh, me, man.
We all know at least those of you that keep up with recruiting on a regular basis, we know how the Peyton Houston saga turned out. That was Oklahoma's first quarterback target in the 2027 class, and for the longest time, their only quarterback target. Felt really good about Oklahoma's chances for months and months and months, and then everything takes a turn in the last 72 hours of the process, and he winds up committing to LSU, which looks like a pretty prescient decision now because he's going to get to play for Lane Kiffin as opposed to Brian Kelly. But Peyton Houston is off the board. Oklahoma kept in touch with Houston for probably about a month and a half thereafter, but that has since tailed off. They've realized, okay, this kid he's a Tiger, a Bayou Bengal, nothing we can really do about it. Let's evaluate other options. And so they have, and they continue to, or I should say they continued to, until they landed upon the guy that they now see as their quarterback of the future. And the guy that they have zeroed in on in the 2027 class is an Alabama native, a native of the Mobile area, which is pretty fitting given that Jim Nagy himself lived and worked for many, many years in Mobile, Alabama, as the executive director of the Senior Bowl. But the prospect in question is Jamison Roberts. Jamison Roberts of Saraland, Alabama, just wrapping up a sensational junior campaign in which he accounted for 58 total touchdowns, Grayson Singleton, 37 through the air, 21 on the ground, a true dual threat, 6'3", right around 200 pounds. When you study the tape on Jamison Roberts, how would you encapsulate, how would you describe the player that he is for those that haven't yet become acquainted with him?
He's a dude that got better. And when he first popped onto the scene, and we first talked about this a couple months ago, he had the first half of, or maybe a game or two of his junior tape up, but it was mostly sophomore tape. And it's like, okay, like this player's, like I see the potential. I think he's gotten better. I think his arm strength has gotten better. He's more accurate. And then he added some touch to his game as well. So you combine that with the size. Oh, and by the way, he's running and zigzagging through people, so he's for sure a weapon on the ground. I think he could be a nice player. I really do. I think, obviously, there's more to be seen in his senior year, but in terms of poise and mechanical stuff and things of that nature, I like what his junior tape showed.
He's a very modern quarterback prospect, and that's a good thing. He's the right kind of modern quarterback prospect, I guess I should say.
Okay.
Because he's big and strapping and has that arm strength, and he can stand in the pocket and be comfortable delivering. But he is also a weapon with his legs, pretty twitchy for a guy of that size, can make some plays on the – not necessarily a burner, not a guy that's going to run away from a defense like, for instance, a Michael Hawkins, but – plenty of speed, plenty of open field elusiveness. And those are the types of quarterbacks that tend to thrive not only at the collegiate level these days, Grayson, but beyond that at the professional level. And that, to me, is what I see in Jamison Roberts, a guy that has a very NFL-esque skill set. Because you see all different types of quarterbacks thrive at the collegiate level, right? All different styles. It's just really a matter of how they mesh with the offensive scheme that they're in, what kind of weapons they have at their disposal, and then also just their competitive spirit and their willingness to go make and extend plays. Mm-hmm. And so it's not really a cookie-cutter type of dynamic when you're looking at the quarterbacks that can thrive at the collegiate level, but that fold kind of gets narrowed a little bit when you look at the signal callers that excel in the long term at the professional level. I know you've been workshopping an exact comp for Jamison Roberts,
yeah.
And I know you said you hadn't really landed on one, but who are some guys that you see flashes of or similarities to?
In terms of a throwing motion, it's very similar to Dante Moore at Oregon. As a matter of fact, Dante Moore might be who I land on right now. he looks big on tape, and when he runs because he looks bigger than everybody, Lenoris Sellers is a guy that jumps to mind. But I think in the overall totality of what I'm seeing, I would land on Dante Moore right now.
I mentioned that I think Roberts is a very NFL-esque type of quarterback with a very NFL-esque type of skill set. A guy that, provided he develops and produces at the collegiate level, is probably going to be a draft pick one day and could be a pretty high draft pick depending on the extent to which he develops and produces. So I'm going to go with an NFL comp here.
Okay.
Tell me what you think of this.
All right.
I see Drake May.
Yes. I can see it.
Somebody on the text line said Cam Ward may be a good comp. And I'm sure Ben Arbuckle, when he's looking at Jamison Roberts, sees some Cam Ward as well.
Sure.
Colin Claremore says he reminds me of a Michael Penix or a Jaden Daniels.
Michael Penix doesn't run around a whole lot. But in terms of throwing the football, Michael Penix, I think, is a good one.
Jaden Daniels, I think Michael Hawkins is a good Jaden Daniels comp.
I mean, especially with the body type.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The Waffler wants to know, is Roberts a sneaky athletic guy? No, he is not sneaky athletic. He's just athletic. Just a flat-out athlete. But when we look at the production from Roberts as a junior, Grayson, and this is his first year as a starter at the high school level because he took the reins from KJ Lacey, who signed with Texas out of Saraland High School a season ago. So Roberts, like Bo Bentley, is a guy that is just now getting his first taste of full-time action as a starting quarterback as a junior, and man, he excelled. Threw 5 interceptions all season. 58 total touchdowns, as I mentioned, over 4,500 total yards. Took Saraland all the way to the state championship game where they lost to Clay Chalkville, which is a program that's an absolute force down there in Alabama. So there is no shame in that. All in all, if you're looking at not only what shows up on tape, but what shows up in the box score from your quarterback target, he's kind of given you exactly what you want over the course of the 2025 campaign.
Yeah, I mean, yes, takes care of the football and gives you production on for your team. And, for Roberts, there's a lot of people on the text line here talking about, or one guy talking about how you and Brandon said that Jackson Arnold was going to be elite. Here's the thing with quarterbacks, man. They can have all the traits in high school. They can look excellent in high school. I said this yesterday. We just don't know. We don't know. But what's interesting to me is that in a world of an SEC where you've got defenders that are going to be collapsing the pocket on you almost every single time you drop back, the sturdy foundation and the balance with which he plays and his pocket awareness that he already has in high school, I think will go a long way. And then you add the athleticism on top of it. So when I look at it from that perspective and the way he plays the game and the way he thinks the game, I can see this guy succeeding. I really can when you've got good feet and good balance and then a good head.
By the way, Bruce, I did talk up Jackson Arnold because all of us did. He was a 5-star prospect. But I was very measured. From start to finish, throughout the Jackson Arnold experience, from the day he committed to the University of Oklahoma, very measured in the things I said about Jackson Arnold. Never once did I say he will succeed beyond OU. Never once did I even say he would be a Heisman finalist at OU. I never heaped that type of hype upon Jackson Arnold. And if you can find evidence to the contrary, I will be happy to Venmo you a crisp $20 bill. But yeah, look, I believed in Jackson Arnold. I think it was hard not to believe in Jackson Arnold with what he did at the high school level. You couldn't really have foreseen the fact that once he got to the collegiate level, he was going to crash out as spectacularly as he did. He was a National Gatorade Player of the Year in the fall of 2022. So, I mean, it's unfortunate the trajectory that his collegiate career has taken, but, sometimes that happens, man. That's football. That's recruiting. That's the business. And for instance, for Jim Nagy and that front office, man, those are guys that have been scouting and evaluating talent and helping build rosters for decades in some cases when you look at the experience that him and assistant GM Lake Dawson have had. And those guys aren't going to have a 100% hit rate because nobody can. Nobody will. And you also can't predict what's going to happen if a guy gets to campus, and I'll use the example of Devon Mitchell once again, and just is completely unwilling to help himself out and put himself in position to where he can succeed as a college football player beyond just being an athletic specimen. Yes, you have to have the traits. You have to have the skills and abilities in order to be a successful college football player and give yourself a chance at the NFL, but it takes more than that. You have to show up and be willing to learn in the film room, submit to coaching, keep yourself in shape, improve physically and mentally on a day-to-day basis. And some guys just get to college, and for whatever reason, they check out in that sense. And so you do your best to identify red flags in that sense. Can't always do that.
Sooner 7-8. You did say Arnold was a better prospect than Manning.
I did. That is true. I did say Jackson Arnold was a better prospect than Arch Manning. Do we know that I'm wrong right now?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Jackson Arnold has been good, but
did you see the aside from the Georgia game? You see, Arch Manning finished the season pretty damn good.
We have an NFL first-round draft pick conversations right now with regard to Arch Manning. Like, we don't know what next season will hold. Maybe he really catches fire and starts playing great ball. But for the most part, he didn't do much to increase Texas's odds of winning football games week to week throughout the 2025 season. Although I must acknowledge he did play probably his best game all year, especially situationally, against Oklahoma. By the way, a 4-5 listener with a great point. Is Jackson Arnold a bust? He helped get Peyton Bowen. Now, that is true. Peyton Bowen probably isn't at Oklahoma right now were it not for Jackson Arnold. So, if nothing else, the silver lining in the Jackson Arnold saga is that Peyton Bowen came and Peyton Bowen stayed. And after Peyton Bowen came and stayed, Eli Bowen came and stayed too.
That's a good point. Keaton on the YouTube chat says, I heard Thune can do a standing dunk. Any fact to this?
That is not factual. That is not factual at all. I cannot dunk a basketball.
Chuck says, you're wrong because Arch has Jackson Arnold and Mateer beat.
Arch has
Jackson Arnold and John Mateer beat.
Okay, I had to, for whatever reason, I scrambled the order of those three quarterbacks when you read that. But, look, Arch has had good moments and bad moments. He's had flashes of the potential that so many imagined would be present when he came out of high school as the number one prospect in America. And I would say on the whole, he probably had a better season than John Mateer did.
I think that's pretty easy.
Now, I will say this, and not that it really matters because, if it happens, it's not going to happen at the University of Oklahoma anyway, but I still think Jackson Arnold can turn a corner. He just needs to be in a system that's suited to his style of play, and I don't think going to Auburn did him any favors. And he was not well coached and or developed there by Hugh Freeze. Maybe he's just bad, and obviously after the 2026 season, we will know because the book will be closed on Jackson Arnold's college career at this point. But I think if he lands in the right system, he can have some success. I still have enduring memories of high school senior Jackson Arnold at Denton Guyer High School in 2022. And that guy's still in there somewhere. Could be that his confidence is just permanently compromised and he will never recapture that form. But I continue to hold out hope that it's going to click for Jackson Arnold at some point. We shall see. 405-651-3439 is the text line if you have opinions, which I know so many of you do. We will be back next to wrap up Locked In here on The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
Do you eat, sleep, and breathe Sooner football? We do too. This is The Ref, home of Sooner fans.
Spread some joy this holiday season with the Hal Smith gift card. One card, 14 restaurants. Giving the perfect gift has never been easier.
Speed can't be taught. You got it or you don't. Rose Hill Builders has it. Their game plan is efficient, and they do not cut corners for quality. Trust old coach here. Call Rose Hill Builders to get your approval process started today. Rose Hill Builders, the team you want on your side.
For the professional, it's not enough to just possess knowledge. That's why at GMC, we seek to refine it, to wield its power, to redefine its boundaries, while pushing the limits. And we put this knowledge to the test in every GMC Sierra by engineering each one to outperform your expectations. So you know you're getting precision and durability when you need it most. And that's what makes the GMC Sierra the truck worth knowing. We are professional grade. See your Oklahoma GMC dealers.
Hi Norman, it's DJ Newsom with Alliance Bank, your community-driven, friendly neighborhood bank. Whether you're a budding entrepreneur, lead a nonprofit organization, or just someone seeking a better banking experience, we've got you covered. From business to personal banking, we tailor our services to suit everyone's needs. We believe in making banking easy and enjoyable. Visit our Norman location or call us today at 405-286-5750. Alliance Bank, banking tailored to your needs. Member FDIC.
Hey, it's Mike Steely, one of America's favorite regional radio stars. Not really. Reminding you to go to the Apple Store or the Google Play Store and download the KREF app. You'll have access to the Ref forever at the Apple Play Store or the Google Play Store. You can listen to myself and Parker Thune from noon to 2 and all the other great shows right here on the Ref Radio Network, the home of Sooner fans. Go get the app. It's awesome.
Hi Sooner fans, this is Caitlin Smith
and Hurley Snow with the reigning 7-time national championship OU women's gymnastics team.
The start of our season is right around the corner, and what better gift than to gift an experience for every single home meet this season. Season tickets are on sale beginning with our first home meet January 23rd.
Another awesome gift idea as we head into the holidays is to gift a Team 10 Booster Club membership, which directly supports our team. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
And as always,
Boomer Sooner!
The Oaks at Mustang is now leasing. Conveniently located on County Line Road and the Turnpike in Mustang, the Oaks has spacious 1- and 2-bedroom apartments with large walk-in closets, package lockers, and even a sparkling pool. The Oaks is leasing now, so you don't want to wait. Contact the Oaks and Mustang on their website at theoaksatmustang.com or call 405-927-2566 to be where everyone will want to be. 405-927-2566 or online, theoaksinmustang.com.
Hey, Tyler McComas here, inviting you to join me live at Buffalo Wild Wings in Norman Wednesday, December 17th from 3 to 6 p.m. Buffalo Wild Wings will be hosting their annual toy drive in Santa's Workshop. And if you come out to Buffalo Wild Wings in Norman and bring an unwrapped gift of over $20, you will receive a coupon for a free appetizer. You also have the chance to meet Santa, take pictures, choose a bag of goodies, and create an ornament. Make sure to join the Ref at the Buffalo Wild Wings toy drive in Norman on December 17th. All donations will be going to Children's Hospital.
Come on down to River Bottom Nursery at one of their 2 locations in OKC. Now under new ownership, River Bottom serves both the commercial industry as well as the gardener and homeowner at both their plant and tree nursery locations. River Bottom Nursery has everything you need to make your yard paradise. Call them today, 405-735-3636, or swing by one of their 2 locations. RiverbottomNursery.com, Oklahoma City's premier tree and plant nursery.
This doesn't happen terribly often, Grayson, but I always am kind of befuddled when I'm scrolling through Twitter.com and I run across somebody random whom I've never interacted with.
Yeah.
Who has me blocked. Like this happened the other day. I was scrolling through Twitter.com as one does, and I think it was some some beat writer from Utah or somewhere, and I tapped their tweet, and you know how it is on Twitter now. If you're blocked by somebody, the retweet and comment function, it's all grayed out, and you can't interact with the tweet in any capacity. And I was like, I've literally never met this person in my life. I have no idea why they would have me blocked, but apparently they do. I can't, and not that it matters, but I always wonder why.
Yeah.
Did I say something mean about one of their friends? I don't mean tweet all that often. Are they just are they a very, 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 very far left individual who is one of those people that will block me simply because I share a last name with the Senate Majority Leader on the Republican side of things? that may be the case.
That's funny.
But it always is interesting. Like I said, it doesn't happen all that often, but it probably occurs every month or two. I'll just be like, oh, this person whom I've never had any sort of interaction with before has me blocked on Twitter.com. Wild times.
That's funny.
A lot of Jackson Arnold discourse happening on the text line right now.
And on the YouTube chat.
Really? What are they saying?
I gotta scroll through this. This is coming in way too fast.
The sum and substance of the Jackson Arnold experience can be summed up in Pete Weber's comment upon retiring from professional bowling.
Okay.
Love me or hate me, you watched. And that's what every Oklahoma fan is going to continue to do until Jackson Arnold is done playing college football.
Yeah, Chuck here says, so now, responding to some people on the YouTube chat, so now he's a fool? Wow, you guys weren't saying that when he beat Auburn last year. And that's the thing with Jackson Arnold, is that as bad as he was at points, you got some wins with him.
That is true, although it was Michael Hawkins that beat Auburn.
Yeah, which also was true. Maybe
slip of the tongue.
Maybe
he
beat Alabama. Maybe he beat Alabama.
Captain Willard asked, did you say something mean about cougar tails? I would never say anything mean about cougar tails or anything pertaining to the football experience at Brigham Young University because it is elite.
Is it really?
You ever been out to Lavelle Edwards Stadium?
I've never been to Utah.
Really?
No.
Gorgeous state.
Is it really?
Yes. One of the more remote states in the Union, which is kind of nice. It's quiet. It's scenic. I could live in the state of Utah. I'm glad I live in the state of Oklahoma.
Yeah, I couldn't live in Utah.
Why not? How do you know that if you've never been there?
No, you're right. But unless I was living in Salt Lake City, because I'm a big city type of person. I need stuff to do around me. So, and plus Utah just doesn't seem to have a vibe of a state I want to live in. No offense to anybody in Utah. I'm pretty sure it's a beautiful place. It's I don't know if the vibe is what is just matches my personality, is what I'm trying to say.
We'll take a boys trip to Utah sometime and we'll see if we can convert you.
Okay.
Will from Moore asks, hey, Parker, did anyone send you the Andrell Anthony TikTok, basically saying he misses OU? No one sent me the TikTok because I am not on TikTok, and if I was, I wouldn't let anybody friend me or follow me.
Really?
I have no desire whatsoever to participate in TikTok.
Dog, TikTok is funny.
But, yes, so you're saying Andrell Anthony put out a TikTok about how he misses OU? Please do share if you have the TikTok at your disposal there. But 3-star Colin Claremore, actually, this is a wildly random question. Parker, I heard you got your first job in radio at age 14 by randomly calling a station owner in Omaha. Any truth to that? That is true. That is true. I don't know who told you that or how you found that out, but yes, that is 100% true. All the way back in 2013. Different times, man. That was when Jameis Winston was at Florida State. They matched up with Auburn for the national championship game. I remember talking about, I shouldn't say covering, but talking about that college football season at age 14 on the radio.
So you got you an on-air gig at 14.
Don't ask me how, but yes.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. It was one segment a week, 10 minutes on Mondays. Now we're here. over a decade later.
Correction says, Grayson, keep up with the chat. We are talking about how bad Hawkins is. How did y'all devolve into this conversation?
Yeah, and why are we talking about how bad Hawkins is? Like,
where did we get to this?
I think it's wild, too, that, like...
I for real thought we were talking about Jackson Arnold, but now I guess the Auburn comment makes more sense.
It feels like the majority of the Oklahoma fan base, and maybe this is an inaccurate perception on my part, but I know Michael Hawkins has supporters. I know Michael Hawkins has detractors, and I know that there are those that can't be talked out of either camp. But it feels like the majority of the people who exist in the middle between the two, Grayson, like their opinion of Michael Hawkins as a football player is solely dictated by how John Mateer is playing. If John Mateer is playing
That's
poorly,
a good point.
All right, bring in Hawkins. We got to see it. Let's go. We got to make a change. If John Mateer isn't playing poorly, that Hawkins kid's a scrub. You see him sidearm the ball in that Kent State game, he'll never play here. The fluctuation with regard to the public opinion of Michael Hawkins is wild.
But isn't that just called being a backup quarterback, though?
I guess.
Like, a lot of people's opinion of the backup quarterback is largely going to be dictated upon the performance of the starter.
But there are also, like, very seldom do you hear people going out of their way to say the backup quarterback sucks.
No, I mean, this is a very good point.
Unless it's Davis Bevel we're talking about, in which case, yes. But,
okay, extreme example there.
Yeah, very extreme example. But, I mean, Michael Hawkins had 4 touchdowns and no turnovers in the Kent State game. That was, I mean, it wasn't a spectacular performance, but is anybody going to turn in a truly spectacular performance or one that is regarded as such when you're going up against Kent State? It was a clean game. And yet all anybody wanted to talk about in the aftermath was how he sidearmed the football. And those mechanics, he'll never succeed here.
And how there should have been padding on the walls.
Well, yes, also that. And there was padding on the walls 2 weeks later after the bye week.
Mm-hmm.
Keontez Lewis is apparently still feeling it, though. Got to figure out what his status is going to be. I need to dig around on that because he was in street clothes and unavailable for the Sooner season finale against LSU.
Slim Brady, I just don't think our QB room is good at all.
Well.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, maybe there's some truth to that. Maybe John Mateer and Michael Hawkins both suck. Maybe Whit Neubauer is useless. Maybe Jet New will never amount to anything. And you know what? If that's the case, you're just hoping, crossing your fingers, that when Bo Bentley gets to town, he's going to be ready quick. But I happen to be of the opinion, and perhaps it's the sunshine pumper in me, Grayson, I think John Mateer and Michael Hawkins are both perfectly fine quarterbacks that no doubt are going to have some things to hammer out this offseason. And I expect there's going to be some competition for that starting role heading into 2026. But whoever earns that job, I firmly believe, is going to be, at the very least, an above-average option for Oklahoma next season. Because players do get better, folks. Players do get better, which is why it's always wild to me to hear people say, Emmett Jones hasn't developed any of the wide receivers he signed out of high school. That's because all those guys are sophomores right now. His first recruiting class at Oklahoma was the class of 2024. Those guys are sophomores. We're saying if we're gonna knock Emmett Jones for not getting anything out of those guys in their first 2 years on campus, I mean, that's fine if you want to go that route. But let's keep in mind that one of Oklahoma's top 5 football players right now is a year 3 guy who did absolutely nothing over his first 2 seasons at the University of Oklahoma. And that, of course, is Taylor Wine, who went from doing absolutely nothing and being a bench-riding scrub to being a second-team All-SEC guy as a redshirt sophomore.
You know, another position coach we probably should talk about, and this is a good text from the 580. I love Hawkins and Mateer, but I just don't understand why we don't have a QB coach who can get these guys to keep their feet under control. And that's a good point. Like, Oklahoma, say whatever you want about the quarterbacks. I don't think I'm off base by saying those dudes are mechanical nightmares right now.
There are issues, to be certain. There are issues. And I would imagine that will be a focus this offseason, is just continuing to refine those guys' mechanics such that you're not seeing Mateer drop his elbow as he's prone to do, and you're not seeing Hawkins go sidearm as he is prone to do. And maybe that's just what these guys are, Grayson. And if so, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I understand. There are those, and I probably fall into this camp as well. Like, I would prefer to see a guy who's got the clean, traditional overhand throwing mechanics. But we live in a world where, as I mentioned earlier, you get all different types of quarterbacks throwing the ball in all types of different fashions, and you got a 44-year-old in Phillip Rivers that's going to start this weekend for the Indianapolis Colts after being on his couch at home last Sunday. He's got one of the wackiest throwing motions that the world of football has ever seen.
He's a semifinalist for the Hall of Fame right now.
Yes, indeed. All right, folks.
Lord.
With that, we're going to say goodbye and say hello to the weekend. For Grayson Singleton, I am Parker Thune. We will do it all again on Monday. Same time, same place. Keep it here. The Rush is next.